Before we dive into today's episode, I have something truly special to share. Next September, I'll be leading an intimate women's retreat through the south of France and northern Italy, and you're invited. Picture this: mornings exploring the colorful markets of the French Riviera, afternoons sipping wine, and a hotel view with golden Mediterranean sunsets. Whether you love photography, food, or just want to reconnect with your playful creative self, this trip is designed for you. Spots are limited, so if all this sounds like your kind of adventure, please visit tourwithabsolutely.com and look for the tour France and Italy with Crystal. You can also send me a message or check out the show notes. Hey guys, my name's Crystal Kenny, and I'm in love with creating. All things artistic and imagination involved. I'm an American girl who chased her creative dreams all the way to Paris, France, making a living using photography. This podcast takes you inside the stories of all the artsy folks I've met along the way and gives you that extra push to discover your creative gifts. The desire to create is deeply inside each and every one of us, and I give you the tools and inspiration to find a new way of living a more creative life. This is La Vie Creative, the podcast. So welcome to the show, Jimi. How are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to share your story. I found you on Instagram and you're doing a lot of interesting things, but I like to always go back to the start of what brought you to Paris and what made you decide and stay and build a life.
It might be a bit cliche, but love brought me to Paris. I was on holidays here back in 2006, and the first day I was here, I met the man who would become my husband. And he followed me to Australia, and then I followed him back here, and I've never left.
The first day, what good luck you had.
I know, it's insane. I wasn't looking for anything. And yeah, I do have a theory that the French have a plan to seduce and recruit foreigners to bring them back here to increase the French population.
It's not a bad idea. It's not like Iceland where they're trying not to date their cousins because there's so few people and they're bringing in all the foreigners.
Much needed. But no, I have quite a few friends actually who are foreigners who now have our French partners. And I am convinced it is a real thing.
So talk a little bit about how Paris has influenced your identity as both a creative and a business owner.
It's a very different lifestyle to what I was brought up with, because I'm from Australia originally. So very much the beach culture. There is a lot of theatrical creative stuff happening in Australia as well, but it's a bit of a different scene. And also being in Paris, being a French-speaking country, it makes things difficult, which is why I've gone into the more niche Anglophone theatre. There's quite a few of those Anglophone theatres in Paris at the moment catering to expats, but also the French people who speak English as well, which is a great many of them. And I, in general, just find Paris such an inspiring city. And to be honest, the first time I came here, I had low expectations. I just visited Paris because I thought it's Paris. Should just pop through. And it just had me enamored from day one, like the architecture, the food, everything about it. It just really drew me in. And I think that love of it has really just affected my life and my work. I feel very, not that I wasn't so inspired back in Australia, but there's something about here, like there's a thriving culture, like opera and theatre and film and TV and music. Everything here is very much an artist city. And I've been very fortunate to meet with many other creative people here to build a good network of support to help push each other's projects forward.
Definitely. It's life-changing coming here, and love definitely has influence too. So talk a little bit about your business, Curious Creature Productions. How did it begin?
I created it 3 years ago. I co-founded it with my husband. I handle the more creative side. He handles the more financial side because he's a financial background. And it wouldn't exist without another theatre company here in Paris, the Big Funk Theatre Company. They are a French-American one, and I've started working with them about 10 years ago with directing and acting and writing plays. And through the friendships and connections I made with them, it gave me the support I needed to branch out and start my own company and do my own shows. I imagine I still could have created Curious Creatures without them, but definitely having such a wonderful group behind me definitely made things easier.
And tell us about the name. Why Curious Creature?
I've feel affinity towards Alice in Wonderland and the whole curious type feel of it. And for me, my shows, they're all on the more comedic side, but there's always a slightly fantastic element to my shows, a bit madcap. For me, like they're saying, like, we're all a little mad here. I just feel with my writing style it fits very well. And I like the curious, and I like putting twists in my plays, and just so that everything isn't straightforward. So for me, I find it more interesting. And the more I find it more interesting when you have like twists and turns and stories that aren't quite standard fare that you would get in a theater.
Definitely. We like that. It makes it more interesting. And tell us a little bit about some of the stories you've written, some of the plays you've put on.
Okay. The main events that we do are called Drink and Play, and they're a staged play reading, and each time it's completely new plays. We do about 6 per year, and every time is brand new plays. Sometimes it's long form plays, full length plays, or short pieces. And for instance, the show we have coming up this month, the 21st, is the Queer Musical Birthday Edition, because it's Pride Month, and musical because it's on the Fête de la Musique, and birthday because it's our 3rd birthday. And with that, there's 4 pieces that have all those elements worked through them, plus also musical performances. So it should be an interesting show. But with the other plays they've done Halloween editions, so it tends to be more spooky, fun stories, or Christmas ones, so festive. We've also done like a sports edition, the mystery edition, so it's more like an Agatha Christie type feel. But for me, there always tend to be a good element of humor, even in my darker subject matter. I was trying to find the humor in the situation. And for me, making the audience laugh is one of the best things about it.
Definitely. That makes like seeing the joy, seeing people connect and just have a good time. And talk a little bit about the creative process. What does it look like from idea to production? What all goes into making the show? It's
a very rapid process, because with them being every 2 months and having brand new plays each time, I'm constantly writing. So sometimes I'll have ideas for the shows 4 months ahead. So it's like put the ideas down and then to come back to later. But I'm generally just working just on the show beforehand. And with that, sometimes it's the title of an idea or a character, and that will spark the rest of the play. And it's not always just my writing. Sometimes my actors will contribute a play as well, which takes the stress off me having to produce so much. But also I'm very happy to give other people a voice and to promote their work as well. So generally, in the 2 months leading up to it, I working on the plays. I have the plays finished usually about 4 weeks before the show. And then we do video read-throughs to start with, just to work out any kinks in the text before we print them up. And then we have in-person rehearsal. And then we have the show. It is as we've been doing it for years now, it's become a very streamlined process. And I use a wide variety of actors, but everybody I've used has done it like a few times now, so that they're used to the process, and it generally flows fairly smoothly. Very fun. And how do you feel your writing style or themes have shifted over the years of living in France? It's given me good ideas in terms of being able to do comparisons of life here versus life elsewhere, and be able to lightly make fun with love of some of the French attitudes and French way of life, and also the same making fun of the foreign way of life and how it sometimes works very well together, how sometimes they clash, but it all works out in the end. I find in general living in Europe has broadened my thought process, because in Australia I had an amazing life there, but it is very isolated. Whereas here you can come and you can be in a different country every weekend if you like. And I love all the cultures that are much more merged here than they are in Australia. So I think it's definitely exposed me to different ideas and slightly different ways of thinking. Definitely. You can't help but be influenced. And talk a little bit about the most rewarding parts of running a production company here. What do you enjoy most about it? The applause? No, I love getting to work with amazing people. I find that very rewarding, because with the Big Fun Company and Curious Creatures, it's just being able to work with very talented people who are giving it their all and and with their talent, that also helps change my writing, because they can bring fresh ideas to me, that things I hadn't seen. And I'm always very open to that, because I think it improves my work to have more perspectives in there. But in general, I find seeing the joy on people's face or the laughter, hearing the laughter during the shows is the best part of it. When I get that first laugh of the show, I find my stress levels go right back down and I know that it's going to be fine. And then afterwards, being able to talk with the audience members, finding out which pieces they liked, what they thought was the best, and especially with our regulars who come back for every show and just to see what their perspective is of how the show's developing, how the writing's developing. Yeah, and just, generally the interaction with the audience and, of course, my actors, it definitely is the highlight of it.
And what's the most challenging part of running the production company here?
Sales. Getting people to the show. It is a difficult process, and you do all you can with the social media side and promotion flyers and different websites, and a lot of it, unfortunately, is word of mouth. You have to put on good shows and then hopefully people will tell the other. And sometimes it can be very difficult to not know why a certain date didn't work, whether it's the holidays or the weather is like something happens and despite your best efforts, you don't get as big an audience as you were expecting or need to break even. So that's definitely the most stressful part of it, is just trying to ensure that we have enough of an audience to keep going.
And how many years have you been doing it now?
With Curious Creatures, this is our third anniversary. We started in 2022. But with Big Funk, I had been with them for 10 years now.
Very cool. And talk about where you guys perform. It sounds like it might be outdoors.
No, actually, it's inside at Le Pavé d'Orsay, which is an art gallery in the 7th, just a few blocks down from the Musée d'Orsay. And it's art gallery by day. And of an evening, they rent it out as a theatrical space. And my Curious Creatures, and a few other of the Anglophone theaters put on productions there on a regular basis. It's quite a good space. Like, it's a long space, and they have the full lights and chairs and everything you need to put on a show. And for me, and also the background changes. So depending on if there's an artist in residence or not, you'll have these amazing paintings on the walls or completely blank, but every time you go, it's different. So it's a very unique space, I find, and we love performing there.
It sounds great. Yeah, it's combining like different arts. It's a gallery and a theater situation.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Sorry.
Yeah, no, what were you going to say?
It's quite popular with a bunch of the theater. So.
Very cool. And talk a little bit about your dreams for the future for Curious Creature. What would you like to see happen and continue with it?
I definitely want to keep doing the drink and plays because they're a good fun night out and everybody seems to enjoy those. We do plan on moving into properly staged performances as well, doing smaller runs at actual theatres. So that's on the agenda for next year, early next year, hopefully. And we have a few full-length plays that we're quite keen to get up. And part of the whole starting off with these performances we do now is to build an audience so that when we had to take the full step of renting a theatre and all the expense that goes in with that, that would actually have an audience ready-made to come see it. So we are planning on that. And another area we're looking into is short films and films.
Very fun. And how do you find a theater in Paris to perform in? There's so many theaters, and where do you even begin to decide something like that?
There is. In general, it's, again, a word of mouth thing, talking with my other producer friends and actor friends of the different venues they've worked out and whether or not they're a nice place to work at or not. In fact, there is actually a theatre quite close to where I live in the 19th, which a few of my friends have through different productions performed at, and that would probably be where we would start, I think.
Yeah, I imagine not all theaters are equal when it comes to working with easygoing people.
No, sadly not. I have been very blessed with all the work I've done the majority of the people having worked with have been very easy to get along with, very friendly, very supportive of each other. It's very rare in the time I've been here in Paris to have found divas that's difficult to work with. Whereas in Sydney, I did find that a little bit more. There could be a bit more artistic temperament happening, whereas particularly in the Anglophone community here, it is quite friendly and very supportive of each other,
And where do you find the actors for your shows, and what exactly are you looking for when you bring them in?
To start with, I was just using people that I knew from the Big Funk because I had worked with them, directed them already, and they knew my work and they were quite keen to jump into this new project I was starting. But from there, I reached out to other like friends of actors. And then because I was after some more of an age range, like quite younger as well. So I got in contact with people from the Cours Florent. And so I've had quite a few of the Cours Florent students take part. In general, when I'm seeking actors, I'm happy. And if anybody expresses an interest in wanting to be a part of the shows, I'm always happy to meet with them and just to chat find out what their experience is, what they've been up to, and just to explain what Curious Creatures is all about. And generally, I'm just looking for friendly, talented people. And I do have one or two people who are pretty much in every show, but for the rest, it does change on a regular basis. And I have people come back and forth, but I'm always happy to meet new people.
Very cool. And what advice would you give to other creatives looking to start their own company or collective abroad?
It is all about making that opportunity for yourself, and it's making contacts, especially like if it was in Paris, for example, and you're aiming more towards the Anglophone thing. The idea for me would be just to go to other people's shows. And that's what I do a lot and just meeting the actors, the backstage people, and just building connections that way. And it's very helpful. Like the more people you know, the more suggestion, like advice and help they can give of places to perform, or if they can introduce to writers or other professionals. And the more of a support network you have, the easier it is to create something of your own.
Talk about one of your favorite performances so far.
Oh, there's so many. Let's try and think. Usually for me, it's the Halloween or the Christmas shows that we do, just because with the regular shows, we do have a bit of costuming with it. But for the Halloween and Christmas shows, we go fully out with the decorations and the shows. And I love Christmas time in general and Halloween, the whole dressing up nature of it. And for me, they're always the more fun shows because I can be a bit more wacky, and I always tend to be there because they're, especially with the Halloween, because it's such the whole fake scary thing, like I make it as funny as I possibly can. And yeah, when the audience is really involved, like in the Halloween ones, we actually have an audience costume competition as well. And for me, like just being able to involve the audience in the performance is really special.
And are there any French cultural attitudes towards the arts or business that have shaped how you run your company?
No, I do find in general the French are very supportive of the arts. Like in other cultures, it's not seen as quite as a real job, whereas in France, it's definitely not. In my experience, I do find there's a lot of support at the government level because one of the Maries runs a theatre in Saint-Mandé, and the amount of support that they put into the arts is incredible. I hadn't seen anything like that in Australia. And I really love the fact that the culture is valued just as much as something in the finance sector. It has equal value here, and I very much appreciate that.
Definitely. I think that comes up over and over again, that the French really invest in the arts and they support it. And it's really nice to see. And would you give your younger self one piece of advice before moving to Paris? What would you tell your younger self before moving here?
Start your French lessons before you come. Definitely. And don't believe the stereotypes, especially with the whole rude French thing. It's not there. If you're open and friendly, that is what you get back. And it can be very daunting moving to a country where you don't speak the language. But to myself, I would tell them it's going to work out, and just trust in yourself. And possibly you just need to create the opportunities for yourself even earlier. If I could go back, I would maybe even start Curious Creatures a few years earlier. So I knew I had been put that forward because I was unsure of myself. And I think you just need to have faith in yourself, especially when you're starting a brand new life in a new country.
Definitely. And what do you recommend for people who want to connect with creatives in Paris? Are there different places to find creatives to hang out with, to connect with, to exchange and make businesses together?
Yeah, there are. As I said before, going to other people's shows is definitely a good start. But there's also, I've seen quite a few meetup groups, like writing groups where people get together and share their writing. And when I first moved here, I was a part of that. And I think I just found that type of thing online. If you just go online and if you search up the type of creative field that you're after, there are so many different groups here. And it's just about, I guess, going out and going to other people's shows and just connecting with other people in the audience, or like a lot of the shows as well. If you hang around, you can chat with the actors and that afterwards, which is an amazing opportunity.
Definitely. And how would you define creativity in your own words?
Oh, my own words. Just bringing something of your own into the world. It doesn't necessarily have to be artistic. It's just, I think you can be creative with maths. You can be creative with the landscape. It doesn't have to be something that's traditionally seen as the arts. Like your creativity can be applied to any part of your life. And the important thing is that it brings you joy.
I completely agree. I think that's a really beautiful note to end on. And where can people connect with you and see your shows and learn more about your work?
People can find me probably easiest on Instagram with Curious Creature Productions. And we're always at Chavet d'Orsay in 48 Rue de Lille in the 7th of Paris. But if you go onto our Instagram and message there, I'm always happy to respond, and I can add you to our mailing list of our upcoming events. But yeah, it's probably the easiest.
Lovely. We'll share all that in the show notes. And thank you so much for chatting with me today. I can't wait to see one of your shows.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And we would love to have you there. Just let me know.
Thanks so much for tuning in to La Vie Creative. You can find more information on MissParisPhoto.com. And if you enjoyed this show, please feel free to share and spread the word for all my creative guests. We have the power to help them to keep doing what they love. See you next time.